Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar about BricsCAD software, 5 revolutionary tools that eliminate wasted design time. BricsCAD, as you'll see, is the next evolution of DWG, and it's packed with some powerful and easy to use AI and machine learning tools, which we're going to explore today. This presentation is co-hosted by both TAVCO and Bricsys, so with that, let's get started with some quick introductions. All right, so first, who is TAVCO? And who am I? My name is Kevin, and TAVCO, we are a independent dealer for a wide range of technology solutions for AEC. And this includes a wide variety of things like Canon wide format systems, Leica geosystem products for reality capture, 3D scanning, and handheld devices for 3D pictures. We're also a Bluebeam partner, and recently we've added BricsCAD to our lineup. And the question is, why BricsCAD? Why do we feel so strongly about this product? Well, considering that we service AEC and all of the sub-disciplines within AEC, with everything that's going on in development in the market, we needed to kind of have another product. We needed to have a CAD product. And when we started the conversation with BricsCAD at the end of last year, the story very quickly became really compelling and really showed a lot of potential. And what I believe you'll see today is that it is a solid and reliable CAD solution, and we really feel that it rounds out our technology offerings. It's powerful. It's very familiar. If you're used to AutoCAD, then you're going to feel right at home with this software. And frankly, we see a big demand for the solution in the market. There's some changes that have happened with AutoCAD with their licensing policies and left some people less than pleased with that. And this is one of the reasons why BricsCAD is certainly a good fit. So who's going to be talking to you today? I'm the guy on the left. My name is Kevin. I head up sales and marketing and some other things here at TAVCO. Been working with these sort of products for over 20 years. And the demonstration today is actually going to be handled by John Aid, a software specialist at Bricsys, and his accolades are way too long for me to put on this small piece of real estate on the screen. So I had to kind of, paraphrase a little bit, but he's the man when it comes to BricsCAD. He's going to show you some really cool stuff. Over 23 years as a registered architect and just all knowing about CAD and BIM. So look forward to that. Here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to, just kind of touch on what BricsCAD is and kind of what it can do for you. And then John's going to jump in and do his demonstration and show you some of the AI tools and go over 5 specific revolutionary tools that will, change your workflow. We have a special offer from BricsCAD that we'll talk about, and then we can finish up with some Q&A. And like I mentioned earlier, please feel free to just drop your questions into the chat pane. All right, so what is BricsCAD? Well, honestly, we believe it's the next stage in the evolution of working with DWGs, and it's the perfect solution for anyone who creates and edits 2D or 3D drawings. It's part of the full BricsCAD DWG design platform, and it's developed to be very cost effective. It's fully customizable with its own LISP capability, and it features some amazing functionality that provides a boost in productivity. It's also ever evolving. They're adding new AI features continually for extra horsepower. It's developed by Bricsys, who's been creating innovative 2D and 3D design tools for over 2 decades. And they're part of the global group Hexagon, which happens to also be the parent company for the Leica product. So there's some symmetry there with Leica and what BricsCAD is looking to do here in the future. Hexagon sees a lot of future potential with BricsCAD and is investing to help provide designers with more powerful tools to further optimize their workflows. So again, it's familiar. I mean, once you jump into the software, if you're an AutoCAD user, you're going to feel right at home. It's compatible and familiar with those people that know AutoCAD. The interface is recognizable, it's comfortable. Command names, aliases, system variables, they're all the same. So you can just jump in and get started right away. In fact, they like to tout that without a whole lot of onboarding, if you're an AutoCAD user, you can just get into the software and be up and functional in less than a day. Your previous customizations work as well. You can run existing LISP routines, templates, blocks, sheet layouts, all with little or no modification. And BricsCAD's fully compatible with existing DWG data. And in fact, there's some cases where BricsCAD can open legacy DWG files that other platforms struggle with. BricsCAD has, really good track record with that. So what we're going to cover today, again, the focus is, 5 tools that are just going to, blow your mind. These are intelligent tools. They help you automate processes, save you huge amounts of time and effort. For example, one of them is called Blockify. You can create a block from a set of geometry, and BricsCAD will look at other similar geometry on the drawing and automatically replace it with that block. Cleans up your drawing and reduces the file size. Copy Guide is another tool, allows you to copy entities using surrounding geometry as a guide for where it's going to be placed, and adjusts the geometry and the copy location to suit it best. Move Guided is very similar to Copy Guided, but instead of copying the entity, obviously you're going to move it, but you're going to see how it heals the geometry from where the object was moved from, and that alone is just going to save you a tremendous amount of time. When it comes to licensing, BricsCAD has the most flexible licensing model in the industry. So you can choose between renewable annual subscription, similar to what Autodesk is doing now, or you can still purchase a perpetual seat, you buy it, and you keep it forever. Plus, unlike AutoCAD, BricsCAD offers network licenses that can be shared among users. And I tell you where some conversations I've had lately have shown an impact with this is when dealing with virtual environments. I have some clients that they're changing their technology because their workforce has been remote for most of the COVID situation, and it looks like they want to maintain some of that remote capability. So it's kind of driving folks to get into this virtual environment, and the network licenses of BricsCAD actually work great right there. So look, before we go on, I just have a couple of polls I want to roll out and just get some feedback on. So let's go ahead and jump on the first one here. Are you expecting your company to grow in the next 5 years? Growth is important. All right, well, 100% yes. So we have some very optimistic people that are out there. So look, just one quick follow-up question. If you're looking for your company to grow, are you looking to add more users and potentially some more CAD seats? And we got about half and half there. With that in mind, for those folks that are looking to grow their business and to add some more CAD licenses, cost is a very important part of that business growth. And one thing that you'll see here is that there is a significant reduction in cost overall looking at BricsCAD. Now, specifically, if you're looking at the Pro, which goes toe-to-toe against the full license of AutoCAD, includes the 3D tools, there's a significant reduction in price, especially over 3 years. And even with the 2D design in BricsCAD Lite going against BricsCAD LT, not as great, but still significant. If you're dealing with a large number of seats, or frankly, even a handful of seats, 14% can have a significant impact to your expenses over that time. So let's go ahead and jump into the demonstration here. Change over to John. Okay, John Ade, you now have the screen.
All right, so in this demo, I want to show you 2 things. First, if you are an AutoCAD user, how familiar BricsCAD will be to you and how you can use it exactly the same way as AutoCAD. And second, and more importantly, how BricsCAD also provides a whole set of additional intelligent tools to help you be even more productive and make your work easier. So we're going to go ahead and start BricsCAD. I like to do that because it shows how quickly the product opens up. The first thing you'll see is the BricsCAD launcher. When you do download a trial version, you will get access to the entire suite of products, which includes the 2D drafting, the 3D modeling, the BIM, and the mechanical design workspaces. It's also important to know that the native file format for all these products is DWG. This means you can simply open AutoCAD drawings and work in them. So we'll start by opening up the drafting workspace. Again, BricsCAD itself opens very quickly and is ready to go in very short order. And a lot of that is due to the fact that it's leveraging newer technology for the core application and using artificial intelligence as well as machine learning for a lot of its tools. So the first thing you'll notice is that we have tiles for recently opened files. You can create a new drawing from one of the provided templates, or you can use one of your own custom templates. And as an AutoCAD user, the first thing you should notice is that the BricsCAD interface is almost identical to that of AutoCAD. You see very familiar ribbon interface with the different tabs and different panels organizing your tools. It has pull-down menus if you still use those, just like AutoCAD. You have toolbars, and if you want to use more toolbars, you can right-click on any toolbar or the ribbon and get access to the complement, which is extensive of all the different available toolbars. We also have our panels on the right here. So we have Properties panel, Layers panel, your attachments like XREFs and images, sheet sets. We also have tool palettes and others available. We also have the command line interface, which you can dock at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and keep it floating on the screen while I'm doing the demonstration. And we also have familiar toggles like eSnap and snap tracking and line weight and other toggles down here in the status bar. We've created this familiar user interface so that it's easy to make the switch to BricsCAD for people who already know AutoCAD with little or no retraining. BricsCAD is also fully command compatible, which means that any command or command alias of AutoCAD will work here as well. So if I type in L for line, I get the line command and I can quickly start creating lines. If I type in M for move, I can move these lines. And if I type in CO for copy, I can copy these lines. So again, very familiar commands and workflows. And customizing the user interface works in a similar way as in AutoCAD. It uses the same customizable user interface files or CUI files. You can export existing AutoCAD user interface and import them in BricsCAD to minimize disruption of your daily workflow. So again, I can load a partial CUI file. I can create my own CUI file. And just like AutoCAD, BricsCAD also uses the concepts of model space and paper space. So down here, you still have your model tab, you have your layouts, and you can create additional layouts. In BricsCAD, we also have added a layout manager. So layout manager gives you the ability to manage your layouts and organize them and publish them all from one central dialog. So I can create new layouts, rename them, I can reorder them, and I can publish them all from here. Because BricsCAD's native file format is DWG, we can open drawings that were created in AutoCAD with no loss of information. and just continue working on them. And again, look at how quickly it's opening up files and ready to work in them. So again, you still have, similar type of elements. You have layers, you have colors, you have line types and line weights. You have text and blocks and polylines and hatches. And you can pick these elements and you can quickly use the properties panel or some of the other tools to maybe change their color or even the layer that they're on. So all this is very simple and familiar and easy to learn. If you have already used AutoCAD in the past, it would be no problem here. So we use all the exact same concepts as in AutoCAD. Like I said, lines, polylines, circles, arcs, hatches, XREFs, and so on. It's all using the same workflows and same commands. So think of how familiar and easy it would be to make the switch to BricsCAD. And all BricsCAD versions fully support LISP programming. It uses the same syntax as AutoLISP, so every script that is written for AutoCAD should work exactly the same in BricsCAD with minimal adjustment. So I have a routine here that I found on an AutoCAD forum, and I can just drag and drop it into my BricsCAD session, and it will load it. And then I can use the command it just showed me to invoke this LISP routine, just to show you that without any editing, it's working as expected as it did in AutoCAD. And this is just really placing a symbol with an auto incrementing number in it. And so maybe I would use that to tag doors in a floor plan. Obviously, there's a very simple example of it, but a very handy routine just the same. And there's also a full-featured visual LISP editor called Blade. Blade stands for BricsCAD LISP Advanced Development Environment. And here you can create and edit and modify LISP routines. You can load them into BricsCAD from here as well. So very wonderful little interface for LISP routines. But BricsCAD is not simply a copycat of AutoCAD. In many ways, BricsCAD goes above and beyond what Autodesk has to offer. Even in BricsCAD Lite, the most basic license option, we continue to innovate both in the interface and in user experience. These innovations help you work faster, eliminate repetitive tasks, and save time. So one important difference is the quad. This is a context-sensitive toolbar that appears at your cursor when highlighting objects. Let me go ahead and just isolate a smaller portion of this drawing. So when I hover over this object, I get the quad menu. And the amazing thing about the quad is that it learns from your behavior. It will analyze which tools you use most in certain situations and suggest these tools to you. Depending on what type of object you're highlighting, you'll be presented with different tools. So I'm going to go ahead and offset that polyline very quickly from the quad menu. Now, if you don't want to use the quad, you can come down to the status bar and turn it off. But I guarantee once you've started using it, you'll see the power and how it enables you, and you'll want to continue using it. And since the quad gives you all these tools right at the right click right at your cursor and extended tools in these panels, you can work in what's called the clean screen mode. Clean screen mode will basically turn off temporarily most of your menu systems so that you have a larger work area. BricsCAD offers a powerful 2D dynamic UCS. With it, it has never been easier and faster to draw 2D entities. So if I wanted to create a rectangle, I'm used to being able to draw it orthogonally, maybe have to reorient it after I placed it. But with the 2D dynamic UCS, I can go ahead and say I want to align it with this polyline. I can come down here to this polyline. The UCS appears aligned with it, and then I can lock it. Lock it, and then I can start drawing in that orientation parallel to that line work. Now we also have a feature called nearest distance. So if I select that polyline again and this new rectangle I placed, it's going to present me with a vector showing me the minimum or nearest distance between these two objects. And using this dynamic dimension, I can actually use it to imply a move command and move those objects, move that one object away from the other one. Now we also have the basic tools you would expect for manipulating entities. Things like move, rotate, copy, mirror, scale, and so on. However, we also have a tool that encompasses all of this. It's called the Manipulator, and it allows for very fast, precise, and intuitive manipulation of objects. And since it's a tool that is used so often both in 2D and 3D, we've made it very accessible. It appears when selecting an object by left-clicking it slightly longer than you normally would. So you just hold down a little bit longer and the manipulator appears. The manipulator has axes to allow you to move it quickly along those axes. It has a radius, an arc, so that you can rotate the object either with a specific degree increment or predefined increments. You have the ability to mirror the object. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it. And I also have the ability to select just the face of this rectangle and use that, the manipulator, to modify just that face. I can pick multiple entities, and then I can do a copy. And then I can pick more, and I can do a mirror. So again, it makes it very easy to do a lot of these standard manipulations we do. And between that and the quad, you can do more with less tools being present. So in most other CAD software packages, 2D drafting isn't improved much over the past few decades. BricsCAD, however, continues to advance in the 2D space because our customers demand this level of innovation. So I'm going to go back to our regular workspace mode. So we have developed the smart move and copy tools called Move Guided and Copy Guided. These tools allow you to move and copy entities along guide curves quickly and easily. So I will launch Copy Guided, and I'm going to select this door. I want to make a copy of it further down this wall. Now, when I select the door with that window, it detects the line work that the door is adjacent to and uses those as guide curves, so that if it detects similar line work, in the case the same line work, it will automatically align to it. And so it will do it even in these vertical walls. So if I want to place another copy, I can come down here, make the copy, and Copy Guide will not only copy the geometry aligned with that other geometry, but it'll also create the opening, clean up the line work, and clean up the hatch between that line work. So it's doing a lot of work for you. Now, maybe I don't want this door in this location. We also have Move Guided. Move Guided works in a similar fashion where I can grab that door. It will identify the guide curves on either side of it, and now I can move it into, say, this vertical wall. Now watch what happens to the original location. The door is moved, it cleans up the wall or the lines in the hatch, and then it creates the new opening up here and cleans that up, all with the one tool. Very handy, very fast, very intuitive also. Another application for Move Guided is sometimes I need the guide curve to be something that I select. So I want to move this urinal to a different wall face. So I'm going to select Move Guided again. And this time I can select my guide curve, just the face of the wall. So I don't have to match all the lines in the wall, just the one on the face, and it makes it easier for me to move it to the face of this other wall, even though it's a different width than that one. Yet another application of Move Guided, maybe the design has changed and I don't need this window in this conference room. Well, instead of deleting it and having to repair the line work and the hatch myself, I'm going to use Move Guided to move the window out of the wall, and it will repair the wall and the hatch for me. And then if I don't need this geometry any longer, I'll just delete it. Final example, I want to move this door to this other wall. Again, I will use Move Guided, and I can move it to this horizontal wall. Presents a problem to me now, because now I have these chairs in the way and I need to move them. So granted, I could just move them, but I could also use Move Guided and use some geometry that I select as a guide curve, in this case, the round table. And now I can use it to rotate those chairs around that table and out of the way. Now with BricsCAD, we recognize that sometimes you're doing a lot of work in your plan, you made a lot of changes, but you come back to something you did earlier and you really want to put it back the way it was. So in this case, the urinal needs to move back, but I've already done some other edits. Don't want to undo all that work. So if I select this object and I go to its properties, there is a history property. And if I pick the drop down in the field next to it, it will present me with the steps that have been taken since I opened this drawing, and I can undo it and put it back the way it was. It's a lot faster than doing it manually, and I can isolate just that element and not disturb anything else. So that's entity-based history. Now, just like you're used to, BricsCAD also uses the concept of block definitions and block references. So we'll go take a look at a block. So this chair is a block, and I can go to Edit Block and select OK. And just like you would normally do, you can make your changes and then save them back to your file. I'm going to go ahead and close this. But notice in this plan that we have some additional chairs that look like they're made up of polylines and lines. And it looks like many of these chairs are the same, and they're all polylines and lines. Maybe they got exploded. Maybe somebody copied this line work around. Ideally, these should be blocks. I could manually replace them with block references that I made myself and make it a cleaner, more efficient drawing. However, we've developed a tool to automate this process for us. It's called Blockify, and it's amazingly powerful. I simply select the line work I want to convert to a block. On the ribbon, I launch Blockify, and I'm going to accept the defaults for insertion point. I'm going to have it look for the entire drawing, and I'll let it give it a block name on its own. And in less than, in approximately half a second, it created a block of that geometry and replaced the geometry with the block, and it found all matching instances of it and replaced it with a block also. If I go to my quad here, I can even select similar, and it'll find all insertions or similar insertions of that block that it replaced, and it was 23. So it did a lot of work for me in half a second. Slightly different example, we have this conference room with a different block. One is rotated. We have some that are in a row, probably equally spaced. I again can use Blockify To make a block out of that, this time I will identify the insertion point. Instead of the entire drawing, I'll go ahead and select just the furniture in this room. And then I'll give it a name of my choice. And in a quarter of a second, it did the same work. It found matches to the geometry, created a block, and replaced them. And where there was a repeat pattern, there is an option for it to create an array. So again, just another level of efficiency that you can turn on and off, but it is a feature as part of that command. BricsCAD uses a modern approach to create dynamic block content with parametric blocks. BricsCAD does support dynamic blocks that are made in AutoCAD, but instead of dynamic blocks, BricsCAD parametric blocks are based on 2D and 3D parametric constraints. Now, I've already used Blockify to create and replace repeated geometry very quickly in this drawing. However, I now want this chair to represent different seat depths. We'll block edit this block. And what we can do is we can use auto constrain to add constraints to the seat geometry that I select. So I'm going to go ahead and select the line work for the seat, and I'm going to go to my auto constrain tool, and it will automatically add constraints for the seat width and the seat depth. In looking at those new parameters and constraints, I can test them by right-clicking on them and animating them to see how they move. Now that's not one I was looking for, so I'm going to turn off it being exposed. And the next one, D2, I'll animate. That's exactly what I want. Adjustability with the seat depth. I want to give it a more user-friendly name. And I probably want to give it maybe a different value or expression as a default. I'm happy with this, so I go back and I save my changes, and now that block is updated everywhere. I can pick one of these blocks, and I can go to its properties, and now there is a properties group called parameters, and underneath it is my seat depth. And now I can change the seat depth of an individual chair to a different value. Now, if I want to change them all, I can use my quad again to select similar, and I can go back to that property and go ahead and make it the same for all. Very quickly and very easily. So the last thing I want to show you is a tool that helps with cleaning up drawings where you get small errors in them due to import exports, maybe some just bad drafting, or maybe how the geometry was created, maybe some sort of vector conversion or what have you. But BricsCAD version 2.1 includes a brand new optimize tool, which serves to heal these kinds of errors in 2D drawings. So optimize will allow me to select the line work I want to repair, or it'll allow me to select an entire drawing depending on how much geometry I need to repair. I can choose whether or not it repairs horizontal and vertical lines. So the inaccuracies in these being horizontal or vertical will be repaired. I can also close gaps. So there's a small gap here, and I believe there's a small gap up here too. I have tolerances that I can adjust to make sure that it's capturing the line work and the gaps that I need. And then when I hit apply, you'll notice that the lines are now perfectly straight horizontally and vertically. And the gap down here has been closed. And the one I didn't show you up close up here has also been closed. Very handy tool for cleaning up older drawings that may have a lot of errors in them. So that concludes my quick tour of BricsCAD. I'm sure you can see from the demonstration how powerful it is with its unique intelligent features, but also how compatible it is with AutoCAD. And also, for those that use AutoCAD, how familiar and comfortable it looks, and all at a hugely lower cost of ownership and with flexible license options. So thank you, and Kevin, I'll give it back to you.
Thanks, John. Awesome. Hey, great demonstration. I believe everybody's going to get a lot of value from that. And so, in summary, getting the right tools for 2D drafting is a fine balance between capability and cost. With BricsCAD, you can get that balance perfectly right. And it provides advanced functions to speed up your DWG workflows and offers more tools and intelligent AI features to help automate those time-consuming tasks, plus, the full support for LISP customizations that John was telling you about. Kind of a special offer that BricsCAD is rolling out now. It is a promotion they're calling Share the Benefits. I mean, it's super simple. They have a link that you can sign up and refer a friend. The constraint is has to be outside of your company, but you save 20% towards the new license, a new single license of BricsCAD Pro. Plus, the added value is, whoever you refer, they get 20% off as well. So again, the handouts have the links, but you can visit us anytime at TAVCO.net. We have our online store where all of the BricsCAD licenses are available at TAVCOtech.com, and that's my email address. So, if you guys want to hit me up directly, you can certainly do that. So at this point, we're getting close to wrapping up. We're going to kind of open it up to some questions and check the chat here and see if anybody has got anything. I don't see anything now. So, John, I think you did a thorough job.
Thank you.
You answered all their questions. But
They'll probably have some later.
Right. Well, that's fine. They can email me, and we can escalate that for higher help if we need to. But I think the big thing is just getting the most out of the trial. So if you download the trial, and I know how it is. Life is crazy. So you get excited about this, you download it. Next thing you know, you have deadlines, and your kids need to go somewhere, and then you've expired the 30 days. We can certainly work with you on that. If you need a little more time, just get with me. But we're happy to see what we can do, and certainly if Pro is of interest, that promotion, 20%, that's pretty solid offer. All right, well, I don't see any other questions that have popped in here. So with that, I think that is going to conclude everything with us. We certainly thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to join us for this, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future. Take care.